Hey everyone, we are back for activity 2. So I'm going to go a little bit faster on this one. It's not going to be as long as a tutorial. There's a lot happening here, but I want to challenge you to pursue this and iterate this code to make it somewhat of your own. But here's an activity you can do to make like a graphite pencil come to life, and there's a ton of iterations as possible, as I mentioned. So what we're going to do, we're always going to start with our event handler, but in this particular case, because we're using a lot of the pins, because that is the main principle that we're working on in this unit, we are going to just start with onStart as our event handler, because we're not going to have like on button A pressed or anything, although we could set that up. So now what we need to do is we're going to actually go to our loops function, which is the green button, and we want to use the while do button here. So we're going to put that within our onStart, and while we do, we're going to basically state we need to add a variable that, if true, let's perform a given input. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have to go to variables. We've done this several times. We are going to make a variable, and you are just going to type in sound, but I already have it, so it'll come up. So you are going to use sound, and you're going to need this. So you are going to grab your set item, and you are going to drag that over underneath while do. And instead of item, we are obviously going to use sound as our variable in this particular case. Now, one unique feature, if you scroll on the left side of your microbit, you're going to notice that you see this advanced function. And now we're starting to get into some of these a little bit more. And when we actually select the drop-down arrow to the left, we're going to be prompted, you scroll down, you see another red option, which is talking about pins, which is the main thing that we're utilizing in this tutorial. So we are going to select pins. And where you see analog read pin, you are going to grab that one, telling us basically that we want to read one of the given pins that we're going to be using in this case. Now, for this activity, we're going to use pin 1. So you're going to use the drop-down arrow and change it to pin 1. But you can see all the options available on how to use these. And we'll be getting into those in the future, okay? But we're just for now concerned with pin 1. So we're just going to select that. Now I need to set the sound to something. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my variables, grab another set item, and of course I'm going to change it again to sound because I want to be consistent so that I'm using the same variable throughout. And now I'm going to use another different set of blocks we haven't used yet, which is our math blocks. Depending on the script editor you're using, this will change and can be found sometimes in the variables, but in this case they're found here. And I'm just going to grab this multiplication block, and I am going to push that over the 0. And now I want to add in my variable over the first 0, and I'm going to overlay that. So what I'm going to do is grab my sound variable, put that over. So when sound is multiplied, we're going to have it do something. So when it's multiplied, and we're going to have it be by 5 times, that's going to give us a certain type of parameter that we're looking for, a certain outcome, I should say, that we're looking for. So now we need to go back to our logic sequences that we've used, and now we're going to just be using if-then statements. So I'm going to use an if-then statement, and now instead of just true, I'm going to grab another logic statement, and I'm going to use our greater or less than, and place that in. And again, because we're dealing with sound, you probably have come to the conclusion that we're going to use sound again. And this is similar to our last activity. So now if sound is less than, and we're going to set this up to be 300, and you can just type that in the box, then we need a given outcome. So we've already used music in the last activity, so now you're going to use music. You are going to grab the play tone, and you're going to put that underneath. But instead of play tone, what I want to do is I want to use the variable, and you can hear mine going off right now. So forgive the noise. So what I want to do is I am going to grab sound. And now I'm playing sound over top of where I was playing middle C for 1 beat. Now I'm going to use the drag and drop feature, and I'm going to play this for 2 beats. Okay? So now we're only just going to add one more thing, and then we are done. So right now we have if it is less than 300, but what happens if it's greater than 300? We want to have something happening in this particular case, so we have to add another logic sequence here. So we're going to add another if-then statement, and we're going to do the same thing. But remember from last time, we can just copy this here. We can duplicate, drag it down over top, and now if sound is greater than 300, let's play a different tone. So all I'm going to do is play middle E. So I will grab play tone, middle E for 2 beats, and I apologize for the noise that can come. And middle E. And instead of 1 beat, we'll do 2 beats. And there we go. So there is your code. And I'll go over the making part as well with this after. But you've had all your code. You're dealing with pins, logic sequences, music, loops, you name it, you've got it. I hope this makes sense. And again, as always, please reach out to me if you have comments or questions. Thanks, guys.